Okay guys, this is a little video to introduce you to Photoshop. Okay, first thing that you want to do is actually open up Photoshop. So on your computers at school, if you go here to the Finder icon and you click that, you'll get something that will show up with applications on the left-hand side. It looks something like this. Where is it here? Oh, no, sorry, I'm in QuickTime right now. So it looks something like this. Go and you'll have applications and all that sort of stuff. So if you click on applications, you should be able to see Photoshop in those applications. All right, I have Photoshop on my taskbar, so I will just, oh, no, I don't have it there, sorry. Go back here, so I will go back to applications, and I'm gonna select it here, Adobe Photoshop, that's it there. Adobe Photoshop Elements 14, I believe, is the one that you guys have on your computers at school. So when I double click on that, okay, I should get this, Adobe Photoshop Elements. Double click on that again. Now, I've got these choices: video editor, organizer, photo editor. I want to use my photo editor and it'll finally open up, okay? When it finally opens up, make sure that you click on the Expert tab, okay? These are different types of views that we can have. eLive is if you're doing something with video. Quick view is just a limited number of options that you can use within Photoshop. Guided gives you tutorials, which if you want to look at, that's great. It can give you some little tips on what to do. But in class, we're going to be working on the Expert tab. Okay, so work on the Expert tab. First thing we're going to do is just explain some of the tools and bars that you need to know. Okay, so up here is your menu bar. Okay, these are doing most of the big jobs that we'll do, especially opening up a new project, which we'll do today, or opening up a photo that you've downloaded on your computer. All right, in here is, on the left-hand side is my toolbox. I've got some very powerful tools, and you guys will be using these tools a lot. If I put my cursor over that, it'll actually tell me what these tools are, what the names of them are. Okay, I'm going to quickly just go through some of the most popular ones that we'll be using. The magnifying one we'll be using a lot. That basically makes whatever is in here bigger. The hand tool, if I click on that, that can move things around. I'll show you these once we get stuff open. These are my crop tools, okay? I can crop and move elements. This move tool will move something that I cut out from one picture, and I can move it over into another picture. We'll be doing that a little bit later on probably as well. Quick selection tool, or I call it the magic wand tool, that we can actually cut elements out of a picture and put them into another picture, okay? Other toolbox items, we've got our enhance things here, okay? These are things like the red eye removal, which is what it does, takes the red eye out of photos. Then we've got a spot healing brush, which can take out blemishes or little dots that I don't want on a photo. The smudge tool as well, that can soften edges and make a photo look better, okay? In here we've got our draw tools. We've got a brush, which we're going to be using today, an eraser tool, and we'll be using a paint bucket tool as well. And down here is our color palette. All right, we'll see how all of these work, but those are the main tools and bars that we're going to be looking at through the rest of this class. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, today we are going to actually open up a item. We're going to create a new project. So we're going to go to the top here of the menu bar. We're going to click on File, New, and I'm going to click Open Blank File. Okay, and I wanted you guys to name this, I believe it was Lesson 1. Yeah, Lesson 1, Photoshop. Okay. So up here in the name, that's where we're going to give it the name of whatever it is that we're working on. Here, width and height, they're set to pixels. I can also change it to inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, whatever it is that I want. I'll let you guys leave the width and the height the way it is. I'm just going to change my width and height right now a little bit because I was playing around with it before. So it defaults to what I want, okay? Color mode, RGB color stands for red, green, and black color. We can adjust those. Background contents, we're gonna keep that white, okay? So if I click on that, I get a little palette like here, okay? First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this, this is my palette here. This is my document that I'm actually gonna be working on, my picture that I'm gonna make. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this bigger because it's quite small. All right, and you can see here there's a little paint bucket beside the brush. That's because I've got this paint bucket tool selected. That was the last thing I did. So Photoshop will open up the last tool by default that you use. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this, the zoom tool. Okay, when I click on that, you can see down here that I have a new window that pops up, a new options menu that pops up. All right, so if I want to increase the size of my window, what I can do is I can just click on that, okay? Right click on it, it'll make it bigger. I can also click on this, fit screen, okay? So click on that button to fit screen to make it as big as I want to fit the screen. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna start creating something on this document, okay? So we're gonna use the brush tool, right? It's under there, under draw. I click on brush. And once again, my options have changed here, okay? So under here, under the brush tool, my options, I can change the size of my brush. Right here are some default brushes that I can change to, okay? I'm gonna select the number 5 brush right now. I can also, by clicking on this slide bar here at size, I can change the size of my brush, okay? Yeah, those are the main things we're gonna use for right now. And we're going to make sure that it's selected on the brush tool, not the impressionist brush tool or the color replacement tool. Okay, so I'm going to select, I'm going to make my brush a little thinner than this. I'm going to have a number 3 brush. Okay, so I try to write. By default, you guys might not have a color selected. So if you try doing this and there's nothing going on, what you need to do is click on color and you get this palette that comes up and you can select any color that you want, okay? You can either move your cursor around here to select the color or move it here on the color bar here, okay? So that's how I change colors. I'm just gonna change the color right now. I'm gonna change it to a nice dark blue, okay? And you can see now I've got dark blue. Okay, I also want you guys using the brush tool for this day's class, okay? If you do something and you don't like it, you wanna erase it, if I click on the brush tool, the eraser tool, okay, and I can select the size of the eraser. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and I can just erase any work that I did. Okay. Okay, that's big. Okay, that's great. So that erased that. All right, so for the class, what I want you guys to do is to draw a picture of a cat or an animal, anything that we want actually, but I just specified a cat in the instructions. So I'm just going to show you real quickly. I'm going to select a brush that's about size 5. Here's my little cat head. Here's my cat body. Okay, I'm going to make some whiskers, so I'm going to make the whiskers smaller. Okay, nice small whiskers. There we go. Let's give him an eye, little kitty eye. Okay, let's give him some legs. Let's make those legs a little bit thicker. Okay, there we go. And don't forget a tail. Okay, I'm just showing you guys very quickly a cat. I'd like you to make one that's a little bit better than this. Okay, the last thing I'd like you to do then is to then color in the background of this picture. Okay, the way we do that is we click on Paint Bucket tool, click on Paint, and let's select a color. Okay, I'm going to select a light green color. Okay, sorry, I'm not in the Paint Bucket tool. Make sure I'm on that color. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. Once I click on that, I've got a background color. Okay, so yeah, those are the things I want you to play around with. Have a look at that stuff and send this to me. Don't print this out, but email it to me, okay? Because I don't want us to use a lot of useless ink on the printer. All right, guys, see you in class.